Hello everybody. Next we take a week off from the league to head over to the newish stadium, which, since the last time I looked, seems to have attracted a sponsor who makes some sort of electric cleaning devices of the sort that I bought Daisy for Christmas. Since that realisation came too late for me to profit from it, I will apply my usual rule of not mentioning sponsors unless they pay for the privilege. Kick-off is at 5:30pm, and this season in the FA Cup, it's a return to the old rules whereby the match will go to a replay should the scores be level after 90 minutes. And so, Brentford, we only played them last week, so all their new signings that Daisy so diligently researched for me should still be fresh in the brain. They've brought in a couple of new signings since the winter window opened, but they fall into the category of youngsters for the academy, so we needn't concern ourselves with them at this stage of their careers. Daisy perked up no end at the news that she could have the day off. She's been a bit out of sorts since I bought her that vacuum for Christmas. Maybe I picked the wrong colour. Since we last met, Brentford beat Liverpool 3-1 at the whatever stadium, a result which puts our recent defeat to them into some context, especially when you consider that we were the better side for much of the first half, unlike Liverpool. Now, being a cup match, it's a bit difficult to judge what sort of team they'll put out. They will be having a number of players on the sick list. Aaron Hickey, Shandon Baptiste and Christopher Ayer are all showing up as ruled out, though the pre-match comments before the recent league encounter suggested that a return in the cup match might be a realistic target for Ayer. Frank Onyinka faces an injury test following a dose of hamstring. Then we have Ivan Toney, whose knee problem last week turned out to be not a knee problem at all, but a muscular one. He's got a chance of playing as he awaits his phone call from the FA. Tony had until Wednesday to respond to the 262 charges of illegal betting on matches that he faces. What happens next will depend on how he responded earlier this week. If he put his hands up with a blanket, yeah, it's a fair cop, gov, but society is to blame, the powers that be can sort things out fairly quickly and slap him with a fine and lengthy ban, maybe with a slight discount on either or both of those for the guilty plea. On the other hand, if he pleaded not guilty to some or all of the charges, things could get just a little bit messy. Given that there's so many charges which would need to be looked at individually, it could take months. Tony's offspring might be in the Brentford first 11 while a grey-haired committee member at FIFA HQ met us. Next we move on to case number 135 on the Ivan Toney docket. As I say, we dealt with Brentford fairly recently, so we're going to move straight on to the wild and wacky world of association football, which in recent weeks has sadly turned into a bit of a football obituary column. The latest person to die, unfortunately, was our own co-chairman, David Gold. Now, there have been many comments over the past day or two about Mr. Gold, but I think people do need to take a dose of perspective here. Whatever you think of the guy, we should never forget that someone's just lost a father, grandfather and partner here. All of which seems to be the most important thing to consider, in my view. Bill Shankly's comments on the relationship between football life and death are as stupid now as they were when he actually uttered them. Let the man rest in peace. And on to us and on the pitch. And on Wednesday night, I suppose we saw some green shoots. Coming from behind is not something that we've looked like being able to do in recent weeks. Skamaka's goal was just the sort of thing we signed him for as well. Of course, it wasn't all perfect. Conceding goals from throw-ins is beginning to get a bit worrying, for example. The final score might have been different had we not suffered a double whammy thanks to an incredible piece of spinelessness from referee Coote. The foul on Soufal by Somerville was as blatant a red card offence as you'll ever see. As a deliberate attempt to injure an opponent, it was successful, and we had to endure a defensive reshuffle for the closing minutes against a team that ought to have been reduced to 10 men. Still, it did put that awful run to an end, and Villa's equaliser against Wolves kept us out of the relegation zone, which, psychologically, is no bad thing. Our injury list currently comprises Zuma, knee, Cornet, Lord knows, and the aforementioned Soufal, who is the only one of those three with any chance of making the squad for this weekend. As ever, the prediction's rather difficult in the absence of much idea as to who'll be playing on either side. Our European side has acquitted itself better than the league side, so that if changes are made along those lines, maybe there's a cause for optimism. Given that there are no league places to worry about, I'm going to go all optimistic myself, and with no real basis in fact, for the reason that I'll be going for an away win. So the £2.50 that I would have spent following up those tips that nice Mr. Toney sent me will instead go on a 2-1 victory to us. Why not? Let's have some decent odds, please, Mr. Winston. Enjoy the game.
We're here in the offices of a Late Late Show with the host of a Late Late Show, James Corden.
Hi.
Big West Ham fan.
Yes. And big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you irons.